Maya Johnson wiped down the last table in her section and glanced at the clock on the wall. It was almost 8 in the evening, and Pete's diner was nearly empty. The rain had been falling steadily all day, keeping most customers away. Maya didn't mind the quiet nights. They gave her time to think and plan for her future. She had been working at Pete's diner for 3 years now. The job wasn't glamorous, but it paid her bills and helped her save money for her mother's care. Maya's mother, Ruth, lived in a nursing home across town, and the monthly payments were getting harder to manage on her waitress salary. Still, Maya never complained. She knew she was lucky to have steady work. The bell above the front door rang, and Maya looked up to see an elderly man walking in. He moved slowly, using a cane to help him balance. His gray hair was wet from the rain, and he looked tired. Maya grabbed a menu and walked over to greet him. "Good evening, sir. Welcome to Pete's Diner," she said with her usual warm smile. "Would you like a table or a booth?" The old man looked around the nearly empty restaurant. "A booth would be nice, thank you," he said in a quiet voice. Maya led him to a corner booth near the window. She noticed he was having trouble sliding into the seat, so she gently helped him get comfortable. As she handed him the menu, she realized who he was. This was Clint Eastwood, the famous movie star and director who lived in the area. Maya had seen his movies many times and knew he was a local resident, but she had never met him in person. Maya tried not to show her surprise. She had learned that celebrities often came to Pete's Diner because it was quiet, and the staff usually left them alone. She decided to treat him like any other customer. "Can I start you off with something to drink?" Maya asked. Clint squinted at the menu, holding it close to his face and then farther away. He seemed frustrated. "I'm sorry," he said. "I forgot my reading glasses at home. The light in here isn't very bright, and I can't make out the words very well." Maya felt sorry for him. She remembered how her own mother struggled to read things when she forgot her glasses. "Would you like me to help you with the menu, sir? I can tell you about our specials tonight." Clint looked up at her with grateful eyes. "That would be very kind of you, thank you." Maya pulled out her small notepad and sat down across from him in the booth. She knew some of her co-workers would think this was strange, but she didn't care. The man needed help and she was going to give it to him. "We have fresh chicken soup tonight, which is really good on a cold, rainy day like this," Maya began. "Our meatloaf is popular and we serve it with mashed potatoes and green beans. We also have grilled chicken sandwiches, burgers, and our famous apple pie for dessert." Clint listened carefully to each item. "The soup sounds perfect," he said. "And maybe a grilled cheese sandwich to go with it, and coffee if you have it." Of course we do. Would you like regular coffee or decaf?" "Regular, please. I'm not sleeping much these days anyway," Clint said with a small smile. Maya wrote down his order and went to the kitchen. She told the cook, Danny, to make sure the soup was extra hot and to use the good bread for the grilled cheese sandwich. She wanted everything to be perfect for her customer. When she brought the coffee, Maya noticed that Clint was shivering slightly. The rain had made the evening chilly, and the old building wasn't very warm. She went to the supply closet and found a clean blanket that they sometimes used for customers who got cold. "Here you go, sir," she said, gently placing the blanket around his shoulders. "This should help keep you warm." Clint looked surprised by her kindness. "You don't have to do all this for me," he said. "It's no trouble at all," Maya replied. "My mother always taught me to take care of people, especially when they need a little extra help." When Maya brought his food, she made sure everything was just right. The soup was steaming hot, the sandwich was perfectly golden, and she had brought extra crackers without being asked. Throughout his meal, she checked on him regularly, refilling his coffee cup and making sure he had everything he needed. Maya noticed that Clint seemed lonely. He ate slowly and looked out the window at the rain. She wondered if he had family nearby or if he lived alone. When she refilled his coffee for the 3rd time, she decided to make some gentle conversation. "Are you from around here, sir?" she asked. "Yes, I've lived in Carmel for many years," Clint replied. "It's a beautiful place, but sometimes it gets a little quiet, especially on nights like this." "I know what you mean," Maya said, "but I think quiet nights have their own special feeling. Sometimes it's nice to just sit and think." Clint nodded. You're very wise for someone so young. Your mother raised you well. Maya smiled. She's a wonderful woman. I visit her every week at the nursing home where she lives now. She always tells me to be kind to everyone I meet because you never know what someone might be going through. Your mother sounds like a very special lady, Clint said. I lost my wife a few years ago, and I miss having someone who cared about others the way you and your mother do. Maya felt her heart go out to this lonely old man. I'm sorry for your loss, sir. It must be very hard. It is, Clint said softly. But meeting kind people like you reminds me that there's still goodness in the world. When Clint finished his meal, Maya brought him the check. He looked at the total and reached into his wallet. He pulled out several bills and handed them to Maya. She looked down and saw that he had given her a $50 tip on a $15 meal. Sir, this is too much, Maya said, trying to hand some of the money back. No, please keep it, Clint insisted. You've given me more than just food tonight. You've shown me kindness and made me feel less alone. That's worth more than money. Maya felt tears in her eyes. Thank you so much, sir. This will really help with my mother's care. As Clint prepared to leave, he stood up slowly and put on his coat. What's your name, dear? He asked. Maya Johnson, sir. Well, Maya Johnson, you've made an old man very happy tonight. Your kindness reminds me of my late wife. She would have liked you very much. Maya helped him to the door and watched as he walked carefully to his car in the rain. She had no idea that this simple act of kindness would change her life forever. Maya woke up the next morning feeling good about the night before. She had helped a lonely old man feel better, and his generous tip would help pay for her mother's medicine this month. She got dressed in her uniform and walked to work with a spring in her step. When Maya arrived at Pete's Diner, she noticed something was wrong right away. Her manager, Tony Rodriguez, was standing by the front counter with his arms crossed. His face looked angry, and he was tapping his foot on the floor. Several other workers were gathered around him, including Lisa Thompson, who worked the same shifts as Maya. Lisa had always been jealous of Maya. She didn't like that customers asked for Maya's section or that Maya got better tips. Lisa had worked at the diner for 2 years, 1 year less than Maya, but she felt she deserved the good shifts and the popular tables. Maya, I need to talk to you right now, Tony said in a loud voice as soon as she walked through the door. Maya looked around at her coworkers. Some of them looked uncomfortable, but Lisa was smiling. This made Maya nervous. She had never been in trouble at work before. She always came to work on time, did her job well, and customers liked her. What's wrong, Tony? Maya asked. Did I do something? Did you do something? Tony repeated. Oh, you did something all right. You embarrassed this restaurant last night. Maya was confused. She thought about the previous evening. She had served all her customers well. The elderly man had been happy with his service. She had cleaned her section and left everything neat for the morning shift. I don't understand, Maya said. What are you talking about? Tony pointed his finger at her. You spent the whole evening bothering that famous customer. You sat down at his table like you were his friend. You ignored your other customers. People complained about you. Maya's mouth fell open. That's not true, Tony. I helped him read the menu because he forgot his glasses. I checked on all my customers. Nobody complained to me. Lisa stepped forward with a fake concerned look on her face. Maya, I saw you sitting at that man's table for a long time. You were acting like you knew him personally. It looked very unprofessional. I was helping him with the menu for maybe 2 minutes, Maya said. He couldn't see it clearly. I was just being kind. Kind? Tony laughed. You were showing off because he was famous. You wanted attention. Maya felt her heart beating fast. This wasn't fair. She had done nothing wrong. Tony, I served all my tables last night. I gave everyone good service. You can ask Danny in the kitchen. He saw me working hard all evening. Don't bring Danny into this, Tony said angrily. I have customers who called this morning to complain about you. They said you ignored them while you were playing up to the celebrity. Maya looked around the room. She knew this wasn't true. There had only been 6 customers in the whole restaurant last night, and she had taken care of all of them. She had even helped Mrs. Peterson, an elderly regular customer, with her heavy coat when she left. Which customers complained? Maya asked. I want to know who said this. Tony's face got red. That doesn't matter. I don't have to tell you that. What matters is that you don't know how to behave around famous people. This diner can't afford to have waitresses who don't understand proper behavior. Lisa nodded her head like she agreed. I tried to help you last night, Maya. I tried to signal you to leave that table alone, but you wouldn't listen. This was a lie, and Maya knew it. Lisa had been in the kitchen most of the evening, talking to Danny and complaining about her own customers. She had barely paid attention to what Maya was doing. Lisa, you know that's not true, Maya said. You weren't even watching my section last night. Don't call Lisa a liar, Tony said. She's trying to help you understand what you did wrong. Maya felt tears starting to form in her eyes, but she tried to stay calm. Tony, I've worked here for 3 years. I've never had any complaints. I always do my job well. Last night was no different. Well, last night was different, Tony said. Last night you crossed the line. You forgot that you're a waitress, not a friend to the customers. Maya's co-worker, Jake, who had been standing quietly in the corner, finally spoke up. Tony, I was here last night too. Maya did her job fine. She helped everyone who needed help. Tony glared at Jake. Stay out of this, Jake. This is between me and Maya. Maya realized that Tony had already made up his mind. Nothing she said would change it. She wondered why he was being so unfair. She had always gotten along well with Tony before this. I want you to turn in your uniform and leave, Tony said. I'm letting you go. Maya couldn't believe what she was hearing. You're firing me? For helping a customer? I'm firing you for unprofessional behavior and for bothering a famous person who just wanted to eat in peace. Maya looked at Lisa, who was trying not to smile. Suddenly, Maya understood what had happened. Lisa had made up stories about her to get her in trouble. Lisa wanted Maya's evening shifts, which were the best shifts for tips. This isn't fair, Tony, Maya said. You're firing me based on lies. I'm firing you based on multiple complaints from customers, Tony said. Now please get your things and leave. Maya went to the back room where the employees kept their personal belongings. Her hands were shaking as she took off her uniform and put on her regular clothes. She could hear Lisa talking to the other workers in the dining room. I tried to warn her, Lisa was saying. I told her she was being too friendly with that customer, but she wouldn't listen. She thought she was special because he was famous. Maya came back out carrying her purse and a small bag with her work shoes. She walked toward the front door, but Tony stopped her. Don't think about asking for a reference, he said. I can't recommend someone who doesn't know how to behave professionally. Maya nodded and walked out the door. As she stood on the sidewalk, outside Pete's diner, she felt like her world was falling apart. She had lost her job for being kind to an old man. She had no money saved up, and she needed to pay for her mother's care. Maya walked home slowly, wondering how she would tell her mother what had happened. She also wondered if she had been wrong to help the elderly customer. Maybe she should have just taken his order and left him alone like Lisa said. But in her heart, Maya knew she had done the right thing. She had treated another human being with kindness, and she wouldn't apologize for that. Maya walked into her small apartment and closed the door behind her. She sat down on her old couch and started to cry. She had never been fired from a job before. She had always been a good worker, and customers liked her. Now she had no job, and very little money in the bank. Maya lived in a tiny one-bedroom apartment on the edge of town. The rent was cheap, but it was still hard to pay every month on her waitress salary. She had been saving money little by little to help pay for her mother's care at the nursing home. Her mother, Ruth, had been living there for 2 years now, and the monthly payments were getting harder to manage. After crying for an hour, Maya wiped her eyes and tried to think about what to do next. She needed to find another job quickly. She couldn't afford to be without work for long. She got her laptop and started looking at job websites. There were some restaurant jobs available, but most of them paid less than what she had been making at Pete's Diner. Maya spent the rest of the day filling out job applications online. She applied to work at 3 other restaurants, 2 coffee shops, and a hotel restaurant. She tried to sound positive in her applications, but she was worried about what would happen when employers called Pete's Diner for a reference. The next morning, Maya got dressed in her best clothes and went to visit the restaurants in person. She wanted to make a good impression and show that she was serious about working. The first restaurant was a family place similar to Pete's Diner. The manager seemed interested in Maya and said he would call her references. "I worked at Pete's Diner for 3 years," Maya told him. "You can call Tony Rodriguez there, he's the manager." The manager wrote down the information and said he would call her by the end of the week. Maya felt hopeful as she left. Maybe she would find a new job quickly and everything would work out. But when the restaurant manager called Tony at Pete's Diner, Tony gave Maya a terrible reference. He told the manager that Maya was unprofessional and didn't know how to behave around customers. He said she had been fired for bothering a famous customer and ignoring her other tables. When Maya didn't hear back from the restaurant, she called to ask about the job. The manager sounded uncomfortable on the phone. "I'm sorry, Maya, but we've decided to go with someone else. Your former manager had some concerns about your work performance." Maya felt sick to her stomach. She realized that Tony was going to make it impossible for her to get another restaurant job. She called the other places where she had applied, but the same thing happened. As soon as they called Pete's Diner, they lost interest in hiring her. After a week of rejections, Maya was getting desperate. Her savings account had less than $300 in it. She needed to pay rent in 2 weeks, and she still needed money for groceries and her mother's care. Maya decided to take any work she could find. She started cleaning houses for people in her neighborhood. Mrs. Garcia, who lived 2 blocks away, paid her $20 to clean her house once a week. Maya also started walking dogs for busy families. She made $15 for each dog walk, but it was hard work and took a lot of time. Maya also began doing grocery shopping for elderly people who couldn't drive anymore. She charged $10 plus the cost of gas to drive to the store and shop for them. It wasn't much money, but every little bit helped. The work was tiring and didn't pay very well. Maya had to work 7 days a week just to make enough money for her basic needs. She got up early every morning and worked until late at night. Her back hurt from cleaning floors, and her feet hurt from walking so much. The stress of losing her job and working so hard was making Maya feel sick. She wasn't sleeping well, and she was losing weight because she was trying to save money on food. She bought the cheapest groceries she could find and often skipped meals to make her food last longer. The hardest part was not being able to help her mother as much as before. Maya had always visited Ruth twice a week, but now she could only afford to visit once a week because of the gas money. She also had to skip buying her mother's favorite magazines and treats that made Ruth happy. During one of her visits to the nursing home, Ruth noticed that Maya looked tired and sad. Maya was trying to hide her problems from her mother, but Ruth was a smart woman who knew her daughter well. "Maya, honey, you look like you haven't been sleeping," Ruth said as they sat together in the small visiting room. "Is everything okay? At work?" Maya didn't want to worry her mother, so she lied. "Everything is fine, Mom. I'm just working extra shifts to save more money." Ruth looked at her daughter with concern. "You're working too hard, baby. You need to take care of yourself too." Maya squeezed her mother's hand. "Don't worry about me, Mom. I'm strong, just like you taught me to be." But inside, Maya was struggling more than she had ever struggled before. She was beginning to wonder if she had made a mistake by helping the elderly man at the diner. Maybe Lisa was right. Maybe she should have just taken his order and left him alone. If she had done that, she would still have her job. At night, when Maya was alone in her apartment, she thought about that rainy evening at Pete's Diner. She remembered how grateful the old man had been for her kindness. She remembered how he had said that she reminded him of his late wife. Even though helping him had cost her everything, Maya couldn't bring herself to regret it. Maya's mother had always taught her to treat all people with respect and kindness, especially those who needed help. Even though she was suffering now, Maya believed that doing the right thing was more important than keeping a job. But as the days passed and her money ran out, Maya wondered how much longer she could survive. She was barely making enough money to pay her rent, and she was falling behind on her mother's nursing home payments. Maya was afraid that she might lose everything, but she refused to give up hope that things would get better somehow. 2 weeks had passed since Maya lost her job at Pete's Diner. She was sitting at her small kitchen table with her laptop open, looking at job websites again. Her savings were almost gone, and she was getting scared about how she would pay next month's rent. She had applied to dozens of places, but nobody wanted to hire her after they called Tony for a reference. Maya rubbed her tired eyes and looked at the clock. It was 3 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. She had just finished cleaning 2 houses and walking 3 dogs. Her back was sore, and her feet hurt, but she needed to keep looking for better work. The odd job she was doing barely paid enough to buy food. Suddenly, Maya heard a knock on her front door. She wasn't expecting anyone. Her mother was at the nursing home, and Maya didn't have many friends because she had always been too busy working to socialize much. Maya looked through the peephole and saw a well-dressed woman standing outside. The woman looked to be in her 40s. She had short brown hair and was wearing a nice blue suit with a matching purse. She looked professional and important. Maya wondered if this was someone from the apartment complex office, maybe coming to talk about the rent. Maya opened the door but left the chain lock attached so she could only open it a few inches. "Can I help you?" she asked. "Are you Maya Johnson?" The woman asked with a friendly smile. "Yes, I am. Who are you?" "My name is Kate Morrison. I work for Clint Eastwood. Could I please come in and talk to you for a few minutes? I have something important to discuss with you." Maya's heart started beating fast. She remembered the elderly man from the diner who had been so kind to her. She unhooked the chain and opened the door all the way. "Please come in," Maya said, suddenly feeling embarrassed about her small apartment. The furniture was old and everything looked worn out. She wished she had cleaned up more that morning. Kate walked in and looked around with kind eyes. She didn't seem to judge Maya's humble home. "Thank you for letting me in. I hope I'm not bothering you." "No, it's okay. Please sit down," Maya said, pointing to her couch. "Can I get you something to drink? I have water or coffee." "Water would be nice, thank you," Kate said as she sat down. Maya brought Kate a glass of water and sat across from her in the only chair she had. She was nervous and curious about why this woman was here. Kate took a sip of water and then looked directly at Maya. "I came here because Mr. Eastwood asked me to find you. He went back to Pete's Diner last week hoping to see you again." Maya's eyes widened. "He did?" "Yes. He wanted to thank you properly for how kind you were to him that rainy night. But when he asked for you, the manager told him that you no longer worked there. Mr. Eastwood was surprised and asked what happened to you." Maya felt her stomach tighten. She wondered what Tony had told the famous actor about her. Kate continued, "The manager told Mr. Eastwood that you had been fired for bothering customers and acting unprofessionally. Mr. Eastwood was very upset to hear this because he remembered that evening very differently." "What do you mean?" Maya asked. "Mr. Eastwood told me that you were the kindest waitress he had ever met. He said you helped him when he couldn't read the menu, brought him a blanket when he was cold, and made him feel less lonely. He said you treated him like a human being, not like a famous person." Maya felt tears starting to form in her eyes. "I was just trying to help him. He seemed like he needed someone to be nice to him." Kate nodded. "That's exactly what Mr. Eastwood said. He also said that you reminded him of his late wife, who always treated everyone with kindness and respect." "So he knows I was fired because of him?" Maya asked. "He was very troubled when he heard what happened to you. He felt responsible for your job loss, so he asked me to investigate what really happened that night." Kate reached into her purse and pulled out a small notebook. "I went back to Pete's Diner and talked to other customers who were there that evening. I found Mrs. Peterson, who is a regular customer. Do you remember her?" Maya nodded. "Yes, she's a sweet old lady. I helped her with her coat that night. Mrs. Peterson told me that you gave excellent service to everyone in the restaurant that night. She said you were professional and kind to all your customers, not just Mr. Eastwood. She also said she heard the cook Danny telling someone that you were one of the best waitresses the diner ever had." Maya was surprised to hear this. She had no idea that people had noticed her work that night. Kate continued, "I also spoke with Jake, one of your former co-workers. He told me that Lisa Thompson had been jealous of you for a long time. He said, Lisa wanted your evening shifts because they were the best shifts for tips. Jake believes that Lisa made up stories about you to get you fired. Maya wasn't surprised to hear this, but it still hurt to know that someone had been so mean to her, on purpose. Mr. Eastwood was very angry when he learned the truth, Kate said. He believes that you lost your job because you showed kindness to him, and he wants to make things right. Kate reached into her purse again and pulled out a white envelope. Mr. Eastwood asked me to give this to you. Maya took the envelope with shaking hands. Inside was a check for $5,000 and a handwritten note. Maya read the note out loud. Dear Maya, thank you for treating an old man with such kindness and respect. You reminded me that there are still good people in this world. You should never have lost your job for being kind. I hope this helps you get back on your feet. Please don't ever lose your caring heart. The world needs more people like you. With gratitude, Clint Eastwood. Maya stared at the check and the note. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. $5,000 was more money than she had ever had at one time in her life. I can't take this, Maya said, trying to hand the envelope back to Kate. This is too much money. I was just doing what anyone should do. Kate smiled and pushed the envelope back toward Maya. Mr. Eastwood knew you would say that. He told me that your kindness came from your heart, not because you wanted anything in return. That's exactly why he wants to help you. Maya started crying. She had been struggling so hard for 2 weeks, wondering how she would survive. Now this unexpected gift felt like a miracle. There's more, Kate said gently. Mr. Eastwood doesn't just want to give you money. He wants to offer you a real opportunity to build a better future. Maya looked up through her tears. What do you mean? Kate smiled. He owns several businesses here in Carmel, including a restaurant called the Mission Ranch Restaurant. He would like to offer you a job there if you're interested. Maya couldn't believe what she was hearing. After weeks of rejection and struggle, someone was offering her hope for a better life. Maya stared at Kate with wide eyes. She couldn't believe that someone was offering her a real job after weeks of rejection. You mean Mr. Eastwood wants to hire me at his restaurant? Kate nodded with a warm smile. Yes, but this isn't just any job, Maya. The Mission Ranch Restaurant is one of the nicest places in Carmel. Mr. Eastwood wants to offer you a position as head waitress with a much higher salary than you were making at Pete's Diner. Maya's hands were still shaking as she held the check. I don't understand why he would do all this for me. I only helped him for one evening. That's exactly why he wants to help you, Kate explained. Mr. Eastwood has met many people in his long life, but he said your kindness was genuine. You didn't help him because he was famous. You helped him because he was an elderly man who needed assistance. That kind of goodness is rare. Kate reached into her purse and pulled out another envelope. There's more, Maya. Mr. Eastwood believes that someone with your natural kindness and work ethic deserves a chance to grow and succeed. He's arranged for you to receive training in hospitality management. Maya opened the second envelope and found information about a training program. What does this mean? It means that while you're working at the restaurant, you'll also be learning skills that could help you manage your own restaurant someday. The training is completely paid for, and you'll still receive your full salary while you're learning. Maya felt dizzy. This was more than she had ever dreamed possible. A few hours ago, she was worried about paying her rent. Now someone was offering her a chance at a completely new life. I don't know what to say, Maya whispered. This feels like a dream. Kate stood up and walked over to Maya. She put a gentle hand on her shoulder. It's not a dream, Maya. You deserve this opportunity. Mr. Eastwood told me that his mother always taught him to help good people when he could. He said that kindness should be rewarded, not punished. Maya wiped her eyes and tried to think clearly. When would I start working at the restaurant? Whenever you're ready. Mr. Eastwood doesn't want to rush you, but the job is yours if you want it. Maya thought about her mother at the nursing home. With this new job and the money from Mr. Eastwood, she would be able to pay for her mother's day care without struggling. She could also afford to visit Ruth more often and buy her the little things that made her happy. Yes, Maya said firmly. I want the job. I want to work hard and make Mr. Eastwood proud that he helped me. Kate smiled. I know you will. Mr. Eastwood is a good judge of character, and he believes in you. 3 days later, Maya started work at the Mission Ranch restaurant. She had used some of Mr. Eastwood's money to buy new work clothes and shoes. She felt nervous but excited as she walked into the beautiful restaurant for her first day. The restaurant was much fancier than Pete's Diner. It had white tablecloths, fresh flowers on every table, and big windows that looked out over the countryside. The other workers were friendly and professional. Nobody treated Maya badly or made her feel unwelcome. The manager, a kind woman named Susan Parker, showed Maya around the restaurant and introduced her to the other staff. Mr. Eastwood told me a lot about you, Susan said. He said you have a natural gift for making people feel comfortable and welcome. Maya worked hard from her very first day. She learned the menu quickly and paid attention to every detail. She treated each customer with the same kindness she had shown to Mr. Eastwood that rainy night at Pete's Diner. The customers loved her, and she quickly became one of the most requested waitresses. After Maya had been working at the restaurant for 2 weeks, Mr. Eastwood came in for dinner. Maya was nervous to see him again, but he greeted her with a warm smile. Maya, it's wonderful to see you again, he said as she led him to his favorite table by the window. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me, Mr. Eastwood. Maya said, I can never repay your kindness. You don't need to repay me, he replied. Seeing you succeed and knowing that you can take care of your mother is all the thanks I need. Maya served Mr. Eastwood his dinner that night, and they talked briefly about how she was enjoying her new job. He told her that he was proud of her, hard work, and that she was exactly the kind of person his restaurant needed. As the months passed, Maya continued to excel at her job. The management training program was challenging, but exciting. She learned about running a business, managing staff, and creating budgets. Maya discovered that she was good at solving problems and helping other workers do their best. 6 months after starting at the Mission Ranch restaurant, Susan called Maya into her office. Maya, I have some good news for you. Mr. Eastwood and I have been talking, and we'd like to promote you to assistant manager. Maya couldn't believe it. Really? You want to make me a manager? You've earned it, Susan said. You're reliable. The customers love you, and the other staff respect you. You have all the qualities of a good leader. Maya's new position came with an even higher salary and more responsibility. She was able to move into a nicer apartment and put more money aside for her mother's care. She also started a small savings account to help other young women in her community who wanted to work in restaurants but couldn't afford training. On weekends, Maya visited her mother at the nursing home. Ruth was so proud of her daughter's success. I always knew you were special, baby, Ruth told her. Your kind heart has brought you good things. Maya also kept in touch with Kate Morrison, who had become a friend. Kate told her that Mr. Eastwood often spoke about Maya and how happy he was that he had been able to help her. One day, almost a year after that rainy night at Pete's Diner, Maya decided to drive past her old workplace. She saw Tony through the window, and he looked stressed and unhappy. Maya had heard from Jake that several good workers had quit after seeing how unfairly Maya had been treated. Maya didn't feel angry anymore. She realized that losing her job at Pete's Diner had led her to something much better. If Tony hadn't fired her, she never would have met Kate Morrison or gotten the opportunity to work for Mr. Eastwood. Maya drove away from Pete's Diner and headed to the Mission Ranch restaurant for another day of work she loved. She had learned that sometimes the worst things that happen to you can lead to the best things in your life. She had also learned that kindness is never wasted, even when it seems to cause problems at first. As Maya walked into the restaurant, that day she thought about the lesson her mother had taught her years ago. Ruth had always said to treat everyone with kindness, because you never know when someone might need help. Maya was glad she had listened to her mother's wisdom. That simple act of kindness on a rainy night had changed her entire life.